Hi everybody, it's Lisa and this is the challenge for Project Runway Season 16 Episode 4 and it's a doozy. I'm real excited about this challenge. Again, I'm really jealous because the people on the show were able to spend the night on top of the Empire State Building. And they were to use that for their inspiration for an intimate, like pajamas, nightgowns, things like that, for Heidi Klum's line. Now, that being said, Heidi Klum gave them fabric out of her line. So, it was like silks or satins, and some chiffon, I think, and notions. Now, they also had to create their own textile on that fabric by painting something or doing something from their inspiration from when they spent the night on top of the Empire State Building. So, obviously, I'm not staying the night on top of the Empire State Building. I have never been there before, but I have looked up some pictures. So, I'm going to just tell you right now that I started this video earlier and apparently I was not recording. So I thought that I had hit the record button, but apparently I did not. So I didn't get much done, so it's no big deal. It was just kind of telling you what I got, the parameters of the challenge and all that stuff. So it was a one-day challenge. The winner of the challenge got their look reproduced for Heidi Klum's intimate apparel line for a nightgown, and it was actually a nightgown that won. So it was really up to you what you wanted to do. It needed to be functional, something that you could wear to bed. So they didn't have a budget because, again, the fabric was given to them. So since the fabric was not given to me, obviously, I had to go and purchase it because I did not have satin, I did not have chiffon or anything like that. And I also didn't have any paints or anything that I could use to put onto the fabric. So now I do. I'm going to do something a little different in this video. I am only going to be recording for approximately 45 minutes because my videos are well over an hour long each. So if I hit the 45-ish minute mark, I'm going to cut this video out, do it as a part 1, and then start again as a part 2. That way you don't have to scroll through or sit down and watch it all. If you want to see everything, you're more than welcome to watch it all, of course, but you don't have to. So, one of the things that I did do was I grabbed some elastic that I already had here. It's 1/4 inch elastic because you don't want the big bulky elastic with pajamas or a nightgown because it's not very comfortable. You want something that you can be really comfy in and move in, and so I feel like the smaller the elastic, the better for pajamas. Then I got some silk thread to go through the silky fabric because it'll go through much easier. I also got smaller needles for my sewing machine, which I've already threaded my sewing machine. I spun the bobbin, got the new needle in there, so it's all good, ready to go. So I got that. The color that I chose is this beautiful cobalt blue, and it looks kind of brighter on the camera than it does in real life. It is a little bit of a darker blue, so I wanted it to be a color that I like, and because it's going to be something that I am actually going to wear. So, of course, blue. I love blue. It's my favorite color. So in addition to that, I got more white paint, and I got a little thing to put the paint in. I got little rollers for the paint, and I got the stencils. And the reason why I got these stencils was because this one right here, even though if you look at it in a certain way, it looks kind of like leaves. It looks like some of the gratings and some of the markings that I saw on a couple of pictures of the Empire State Building. So I'll be using that stencil there on my fabric. Hopefully it will work out. So I'm just going to set all that stuff aside because that's not happening right now. I also got some fabric for another project that I'm working on, not related to this one. So, move this out of the way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to unroll all this fabric. I bought the remaining fabric that they had of this color, so they just left it on the bolt for me. It's a lot easier to deal with that way. Normally, when you don't have a project where you're going to be using a lot of the fabric, so I am going to unravel it, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to be making a nightgown, kind of like an A-line nightgown, so that it flares out at the bottom, so it's a little bit more flowy, a little bit easier to wear, movability, because it has to be functional. It has to be something that can actually be worn. So that's what I'm going to do. And so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the first portion of the skirt. Well, the dress part of it. So, we gotta unroll that. And then fold this over so that it makes kind of a triangle type shape. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure. I already know the measurements that I need, so I'm going to take my long ruler and I'm going to measure from the corner point up here down 13 3/4 of an inch. And then this is going to be for the waist, so there's 13 3/4, and then just keep going until you have gone all the way to the other end. So then this right here, when we cut it, it's going to be the waist portion. And then what we're going to do is, because I want it to be 24 inches long from here down, we have to go 37 inches from the corner here down to here. So we'll mark 37. 37, all the way to the other side, just like we did with the 13 3/4 inch. Okay, and now we're going to cut those pieces out on the lines that we drew. So right here on the 13 3/4 inch, and then down here on the 37 inch. And it makes a curved cut. Okay. Real quick, what did I do with my phone? I'm always and forever losing my phone, you guys. Always losing it. It was just here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Forgot to set my alarm, so I'm going to go ahead and set it now for about 35 minutes. Set alarm 35 minutes.
Okay, 6:07 p.m. Setting your alarm.
Okay. So, this is the first piece of the skirt. I'm just going to go ahead and pin that into place. Okay, so there's the skirt portion of it, the front part, and then we're going to have to do the same thing where we're going to cut it the same way again, and then we'll have our back. So let's get our fabric ready. This piece right here, I'm just going to go ahead and cut off the excess right here, and we will be using this most likely for our top, so it's not going to go to waste. Okay, so we'll set it over there. And then the same thing, we're going to fold it into a triangle type shape. Have it over here. I'm going to cut down this line to make it more straight. Okay. 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 13 3/4 from the corner. Okay, and then 37 inches down from the corner. So 37 and 37. And then all the way around again. pieces out. Because of my back issues, doing this is not easy for me. It actually hurts very much to do this. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to get rid of the extra fabric that was on the table. Move this over here. And then pin this portion of the skirt to the back just to make sure that it will actually fit, which it should, because the first half is overlapped into the back and the second half is the same size. Okay, so the skirt is cut. We do have the overlap, which is good because I do want to end up ruching the waist right here. So that'll be good because it gives me the extra fabric that I need for that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it off of the dress form. I'm going to stitch the sides together. I'm going to have a slit in one side of it, so that side I will only stitch about halfway. And then we will start on the top. So let's go ahead and unpin this. Okay, move my dress form out of the way. Okay. So I'm going to actually pin the sides together so that everything lines up properly. It is a slippery material, so if I don't do that, if I don't line it all up and pin it together, it could very easily slip on the machine while I'm feeding it through. So lay it down with the right side facing up, and this one with the right side facing down so that the right sides are together. Ow. And then I'm going to pin them down. So we have this side done. Now we need to flip it over and do the other side. Now in this episode, one of the, no, not this episode, the episode before this one, number 3, when they were doing the one inspired by the movie Leap, one of the contestants, DeAndre I believe it was, sewed his finger in the sewing machine. And I have done that a couple of times now. I've actually showed it to my husband, and it's very cringy when other people do it. And you see it, it's really nasty. It does hurt. It does hurt quite a bit. You have a lot of nerve endings in your fingertips. So when you pierce it like that, especially unexpectedly, it does hurt quite a bit. So I'm just looking at this right here, and I have this piece right here is a little bit longer, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut that off so that it's even and it matches up. Because we're going to want that hem to be even all the way around. So, okay. And then we're just going to do a straight stitch on this because it's not a stretchy material, so we don't need the zigzag stitch. We want the straight stitch on this. And then we're also going to set the distance between the stitches to a smaller number because it is a lighter fabric and we don't want all the pulling and everything, so the more stitches the better, honestly, in my opinion. You may have a different opinion, but that's my opinion. So, alright, so we're going to go ahead and back stitch this. I had it up a little too far. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and stitch down 5/8 of an inch for the seam allowance. And because it is a lighter weight fabric, the tension does need to be less. So I actually have my tension set to number 2. And then back stitch it, lift, release, tighten, and snip. And then you're going to snip off the excess thread at the top where you started. Then you're going to turn it around and do the other side. Don't forget to back stitch. I forgot to leave part of it open for a slit. We're gonna see if it needs it. If it does, then we'll undo the stitches and do the slit. If not, then we'll just go ahead and leave it. Back stitch it again, lift, release, tighten, and snip. Go down here to where you started, snip off the excess there. And now you have your skirt for the dress, and it looks plenty big enough so I won't need the slit in it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the dress form. It's going to be too big for the dress form, but I'm going to pin it on there. I mean, really, you could wear it as a shirt. Okay, so it is quite a bit big, which is good because it's going to give us the ability to do the ruching in the front, which is what I wanted to do. So I'm just going to pin this on here for now, and then then we'll start on the top. Okay, so there is the skirt portion of it. Looks pretty cute. Now I need to go grab my fabric because I let it all fall behind the table and figure out what exactly I'm going to do for the top. So let me grab my fabric. Actually, before I do the top, I'm going to start with the application of the textile on this so that it has time to dry before I need to use it again. So I'm just going to go ahead and move this out of the way here and take this back off. that. And I'm going to put some muslin underneath of it because the paint, because this is so thin, will most likely go right through it. So let me grab some of my muslin. And I don't know if I'm going to do it across the waistband like a belt, or if I'm going to do it on the bottom. I think I'm going to do it across the waist like a belt. So, flip this back around. Okay. Excuse me. Make sure that this is doubled up, possibly even, yeah, I'm just gonna be on the safe side and put it four folds in there. And I'm just gonna do a little bit right in the center, right here. So I need to get my stuff out. I want to make sure I had the right size roller before I began. And take this. And the good thing about these stencils is they are sticky, so there we go. Okay. I hope this works. No. paint is actually bubbling up. Bubbling because it's being drawn into the fabric. Okay, so I went out of the line a little bit. This roller is a little bit too big, but that's what I have. So I did go out of the line a little bit. I'm going to see if I can scrape it off. Not really. Take a little bit of this. Well, it is what it is, mistakes and all, right? Okay. So then I am just going to peel up the sticker and hope that it worked. And it did. It looks very nice, actually. I'm surprised, to be quite honest with you. I didn't think that it would turn out that well. So I'm going to stick this back onto the plastic that it came on because I don't want to lose the sticky on it. Because I will need to use it again, I'm sure. Okay. So there's a couple little mistakes on it, but all in all, I think it looks pretty cute. I do not want to hold it up. Well, yeah, I'll hold it up because it shouldn't fold over. So, okay, so I'm going to hold it up very carefully, and it's just right there in the center, just like a little belt. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pin this up onto my dress form so that it has a chance to dry. Okay. And that goes right there in the center. And I don't want anything to fold over onto it. So I'm just gonna pin it back right now, so that it can dry properly. Okay. Alright, so I have it pinned up on my dress form. I did not put it all the way around my dress form, just pinned it up in the front so that this portion here would have a chance to dry thoroughly, so that if I, when I'm ready to attach my top to it, it's dry and I don't have to worry about smudging the paint. So, okay, so that's that. Now, here for right now. Just take a drink. Okay, now we have to decide what we want to do with the top. Yeah, I don't know yet. Okay, so we have this here. That we can use for the top because it is enough fabric to do a lot with. Excuse me. I'm just not sure what exactly I want to do yet. Sorry, I'm thinking. So I just measured the bust on there, length versus width, and I'm going to see what I can come up with just kind of looking at it. I mean, I have a couple of different ideas, but I don't know. By 16. And see what we've got. So this is the 12 by 16 that I cut out for the top portion of this. Let's see. There. Oh. Go ahead and pin it. Excuse me.
Hi, what's up? It's currently 6:07 p.m. Saturday. The forecast for Redford reports conditions as times of sun and clouds, with a high of 66 degrees Fahrenheit and a low of 47.
Yeah. Okay, so it has been approximately 45 minutes, so I'm going to cut this video off and then do a part 2 and just continue on exactly where I'm at right now, not do anything additional. So The only thing I might do is I might change the angle of the camera, but that's it. So I will see you all in part 2. Bye.